How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday with either themselves or their family. My name is Emiliano Cotera. I'm a trader, love trading, and well, a lot of you guys have been asking me if I can explain my past position on Tesla and basically my thought process. So, with that in mind, I'll be more than happy to share it with you guys. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So, first things first. I'm gonna explain what these colors mean. I set these are basically my critical levels, and the way I the way I search for these levels over here, and basically here, let me give you a little explanation of what the colors mean, so you guys aren't at a loss. So anything that's on the green, okay, anything that's green basically means start looking for calls. Anything that's red, start looking for puts. It's almost an R, my bad. There we go, puts. And anything that's yellow is a possible support slash resistance. Okay. And the blue right here were levels I put in while the market was trading. Okay. I like to set these levels before, but these levels right here up were so apparent with the way the stock was moving that I had to set them up because I noticed that there was a strong seller or buyer resistance at this point. So, with that in mind, I'm going to explain my position on Tesla and how I correlate my positions to slash ES. Uh, you guys, I mean, if you guys have read my posts, you guys probably know that I use slash ES to correlate towards my trading in terms of, okay, if slash ES is breaking a critical level on the downside, let's say it gets close to 2910, is it getting close to my critical level here on Tesla, okay, which is 695. I'll explain uh, basically all of that. So before we get into that, a lot of you guys asked me, what is my checklist? How do I look at a stock and say, I'm going to invest into this? So let's get right into that first before I go ahead and explain so you guys have an idea of why I do it. Okay. So, what is my confirmation checklist? The first thing I always look for is slash ES. Slash ES has been my savior in so many different ways because I set critical levels, and what I look for in these critical levels is a break below or above these critical levels, whether it's a support or resistance. And these levels must be set by you. Okay, nobody gives them out or anything like that. The basics of looking for critical levels is where there is buyer or seller resistance. So let's go back to the chart real quick. So this is the trading day on Friday right here. So this didn't exist. I set all of these levels that are right here except these two. These levels that are right here, from here to here, I set them before market opens. So from here to here, all of this didn't exist. All I had was this right here to set my critical levels, okay? So I'll explain what this one is red specifically. I actually set this red as the market was moving. But the first thing that I noticed was that 2950 was actually green. That's the first thing, okay? 2950 used to be green, and that was my first level that I wanted to break. As it breaks 2950, I would start looking for calls. The reason why I set this red, and this is a very choppy day. I must say that this is one of the choppiest days. Not only that, but I was I was actually taking my high school graduation picture as this was going on. So I was, no joke, sitting in the stands on the bleachers because we were all our entire generation was taking a picture, and I was trading. So that's my dedication towards this. I love this. But the reason why I set this to red is because I started to notice that, yeah, it was breaking, but with almost little to no volume. You can actually see that the volume started to die down little by little. And, you know, usually, usually Tesla makes moves with 10, like $10 values. Like if it breaks 700, just recently, due to how much activity has been going on, Tesla has been moving to 710 or 720 as it breaks one specific whole number. So my idea is to set resistance and support levels at the closest whole number that it can get to. So, for example, you can see that the nearest areas, there are areas of support and resistance. Don't look at them as just like specific levels, like right there, that's where it needs to be, like 2950, that's where it stops. No, it's an area. It's all of this right here. Okay. So you got to keep that in mind, that it can turn at any point in time as it touches this area. That's why if it like gets near or to uh, whatever area you're looking for, you want to take into consideration either taking profits in case you're up or in case you're down as well. Now, taking this into consideration, let's go ahead and look. Again, this didn't exist before, okay? This right here, this is the trading day on Friday. So you have just this to work with. So start looking for areas where there is resistance, support, support, and supports, okay? So as this is the lower lows, this is the lowest low, I set this as, okay, this is where I want to start looking for puts. And this is actually a retracement level right here. This is the nearest whole number. 2950 is the nearest whole number towards this resistance right here. Okay, also right here, you can actually see that. So with that being said, again, this used to be green right here. So I would start looking for calls at this point. The reason why it's not green again is because I noticed that while the trading day was happening and this move up was happening, yes, it had this move up, but I wasn't confident with the volume. I wasn't confident with the candles or anything like that. And as it started to come down towards 2950 again, as it made this move down, it made this big move down, telling me like, okay, there's more volume on the sell side. And then it had this right here that, okay, this was now a critical level for me. Why? Because I started to notice that there was buyers at this point that had strong seller wicks. Okay. So let me go ahead and show you guys this. As it approached 695, I noticed that there was a stop, first of all. So everything was clean up to this point. Right here, there was a stop, strong buyer wick, okay, strong buyer resistance. Then boom, big move up. Okay, that's the first thing that caught my eye. I then noticed it started off as a green candle, then sellers started to take over. So sellers were clearly stronger at this point, with the candles telling me a story that the sellers are clearly stronger. So as I noticed it was getting to 695, you guys can see on the picture that I posted on yesterday, I got in at 1014 and sold at 1049. Okay. So That was my first trade on Tesla with one contract. So 1014 is this candle right here, or like this area right here. Now, my first mistake was I was trading on my phone and I wasn't paying attention to the volume. So, first mistake, look at the volume on this break. You know, I followed my rules in this case, but look at the volume on this break. It wasn't that much, which led to this retracement. Okay? Now, let me explain one quick thing that I think everybody should keep in mind. As slash ES is breaking a critical level, okay, you want the stock of your choice to be breaking a critical level with volume and direction, okay? These are the first two checks that you want to have. Okay, so you look at a stock and is slash ES breaking a critical level? Yes, okay, that's the first thing. This is what's going to give you your edge. This is what's going to give you your edge over your probability of your trade turning out green. Okay, so green money. So if slash ES is going towards the direction that you want it to go, okay, where you want your trade to go, that increases your probability. Okay, so first check. Second check, the stock of your choice, which in this example it's Tesla, is breaking a critical level with volume, which in this case I'll show you guys my mistake. I do make mistakes also. Everybody does. With volume and direction, and okay, this is the second check, my bad. And have a 1 minute candle close below or above the level it just broke, whether it's on the upside or the downside, and wait for the second candle. This is super important. I always wait for the second candle. This was actually an extremely good tip by ZM Trades, who he gave me this tip from like a long time ago. But he basically told me that the best way to watch out for pullbacks and all that is to wait for the second candle. Now, this is going to be my third check right here. So all of this is increasing my probability of my trade turning out green. Now, you want to see continuation. You don't just wait for the second candle and say, okay, there you go. You want to see continuation of the move with the candle that follows a break. So what do I mean by this? So let's say, for example, on a downside, you're seeing candles. This, let's say, is a critical level at 100. And I have a game plan, so you have to always have a get in and out plan before the trade even happens. So let's say my game plan is I want to get in on puts. So I'm going to buy in on puts below 100 and I'm going to sell at 95. That's my game plan right here. Okay. So here we go. It's starting to get close, closer, closer. Then we see what? Boom. Good buyer resistance right here. Well, support. So what is this telling us? That this is a critical level. This area right here is a very critical level. And if it breaks this area, then you've got to move down towards the nearest support level. Keep in mind that in this case, in this example that I'm showing you, 100 is your critical level and it is also your support. Okay, so what the stock should be doing at this point is starting to move back up. Okay, now what you want to look for is look for a pullback that starts to have these seller wicks. Okay, so you want to have these wicks right here that are big. Okay, because this is telling us that sellers are there. Sellers are present to the point that this candle happens. Then what's happening? Getting closer to the critical level. Then, boom, we have the first candle close below. Okay. We wait for the second candle. Okay. This is the first candle that closed below 100. We wait for the second candle to show us this move. We want to see this move. So you want to catch it right around here. Okay. As soon as you see this candle, like even if it looks like this, with this wick looking upwards, that means sellers are very strong there. So if you start seeing the candle turning, that's a good sign. And you want to see volume increasing at the same time. So that's what's been working for me. Like there's people who can get in at this point and be super happy about it, which is great. But just for me, the way I look at things, this is what's helped me out the most to get less fake outs on my plays. So that's what's helped me out so far. Now, what this is going to do, that's going to increase your chance for you to go ahead and get closer to 95, which is your next support level. Again, if it breaks a support level, you want to look for the nearest support level of 100. Again, remember, the support level that we were breaking was 100. The nearest support level from 100 is 95 in this example that I'm giving. So we'll just look for this, goes up, breaks. This is where you want to sell. What you did is you followed your game plan. And one of the biggest things that's helped me out so far is me following my game plan. In fact, I mean, a percentage of my current upbringing, I must say, like a small percentage goes to me following my game plan. Even if it keeps going down, 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 like let's say this goes to like 85, just be happy that you followed your game plan and you didn't rely on hope for this to go to 85 because it can like go just one candle below 95 and start going back towards 100 and then break 100 and then boom, you're caught in the red. You know what I mean? And a certain percentage of this, I must give it to me building up the discipline to follow my game plan because that's been one of the greatest things that's helped me out so far. Of course, Umar, who has been the biggest help probably I've ever had in terms of trading, is obviously one of the greatest factors that I've had that changed my trading in so many ways. But this is just one of the small things that, you know, I as a trader have been trying to build for myself, which is basically the discipline to follow a game plan. And this is something that I didn't have before. And to this very day, I mean, it is hard because you keep thinking, you keep wanting to think, you keep wanting to try to convince yourself that, yeah, it can go below 95, no problem. And you're going to make like, you know, 100% on your trade. But, you know, if you start doing these small catches right here, like just the candle worth of this, and you get like 20% from this, that's more than enough, you know. And if you build that up, you know, within 2 weeks growing, I'm going to count from 2K all the way to 8.4. You know, I mean, you can do that in one day. There's people who do that in one day, but in terms of consistency, I feel like that's going to be much better for me in the near future than just waiting for this move to give me everything I got in within 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So let's follow up with these little things that I decided to put right here. Always keep in mind that you must watch for retracement levels. Retracement levels are extremely important, and you can identify them by watching the candle wicks as it approaches a previously broken level. You remember that example I gave about like this H pattern looking candles that they looked like this, broke below and then started to come up, then had these strong seller wicks. That's very important. This right here is telling you that it is a retracement level. And retracement levels are usually found within previously broken levels, okay? So that's something that you want to keep in mind. I'll show you guys a real example of this in a bit, but I also keep in mind that you want to understand that now you have a limited amount of time to close your operation on the green. And I'll explain this in a bit as well. And critical areas can change as the day goes by. Is a perfect example for everything that, I mean, not for everything, sorry, but today on Friday, my bad. On Friday, it's a perfect example of what this is because I set critical levels on the morning, but then all of a sudden they change because either the market volatility is very low, it's choppy, or the volume on whichever side um, the stock is deciding to take, it's not great. So those are all factors that you want to take into account. Now, here we go. Let's go back to the charts real quick. So let's go back to this area right here. I got in at exactly, it was 10:14. So first things first mistake I made, I didn't necessarily follow my plan in the first place. Now, I got in at this point. I assume I got in at the end because I do usually follow my plan very well. I got in at like 10:14.59 probably. But second candle gave me continuation, which is good. You know, I was happy about that. Then, and this is slash ES, you know, I correlate my trades with slash ES. And again, I want you guys to see this. So first two candles here cause a nice little move down towards 690. My game plan on this one is to buy puts at 695 and sell them at 690, okay? So starts moving downwards, all is looking good, then boom, big candle up, kills my premium, nothing to worry about. Why? Because I'm looking at a retracement level on slash ES right here, which is 2960. This is the area where it previously broke. You can see it right here. You see where that break is? Starts getting close. You see strong seller wick, boom, breaks, gives continuation to the move, starts to move up. Okay. Sellers are clearly here. I was actually expecting a move down from here, but I decided to consolidate. Now, the reason why I didn't sell my position at this point was because it wasn't getting near 2960, which was the previous level it broke. So, because it wasn't doing that, you can actually see the way this looks. Look at the way that this looks right here. I bet I went too far away, right? Imagine this, that this is somebody running, okay? This is actually an example given to by Umar, which I believe is one of the best ways to explain this. Somebody's running. They need to take a break. You know, if you're running for so long, you need to take a break at a certain point in order to continue. So they start taking a break, which your break is 2960 in this case. So as soon as you're ready, you drink some water, whatever, you start moving downwards. Now, notice that my level is 2950 for the downside, okay? Then again, slash ES has a tendency to move 10 points, okay? Whatever, if it's upwards or downwards, you can actually see goes above 2960, reaches 2970, goes below 2950, reaches 2940, okay? So those are the areas that I have. Now, when I mean you have a limited time of trading, I mean you have the time it takes for this to break and for this to get to this area right here. So you have literally this area right here to close your operation on the green. Why? Because if it hasn't reached 2940, if you're like right here, there's still a good probability that it can still reach 2940, right? But but you have to keep in mind that all of this right here, and we're looking at the 1 minute chart. All of this right here, that's how much time you have to close your operation. Because as soon as it gets to 2940, it's either going to do two things. It's going to have a retracement in most cases, or it's just going to switch up directions on you. And on these days where the market is so choppy, like the market was choppy in every way on Friday. And if you weren't careful, you would get caught up on it and it would be your downfall at that point. So that's super important for you to understand and keep in mind. Like you want to watch out that, okay, it broke the level, making continuation towards the move. And now I got to watch this area right here, this 2940. Why? Because this is a previous support and you can actually see it right here. So this is the area. Look at that. That's a previous resistance right there. I mean, support. A broken resistance is now your support. Yes, it went back and broke that area, but again, you don't know that. You don't know it's going to break. Yeah, you can use another retracement level. Again, it broke 2950. Your retracement level is now 2950. So, gets close to 2950, starts seeing seller wicks. You can actually see right there, and then boom, goes to 2930. Makes sense. But then again, I was not in the area where I can concentrate. Again, I was taking my high school picture. And two, I was just not really comfortable with sizing up or anything like that in such a market because look, there was some pretty good chop. I wasn't even able to use the critical levels I set before. I had to set new ones throughout the day. So in that case, here is the overall trade. I get in a 1014, okay? So this is the break of candle. This is the break candle. This is the second candle. Gives movement. So I have two checks that are good, okay? Two checks. What happens? Oh, okay. I start seeing a move up on Tesla. My retracement level, the real retracement level, like I could have held for a retracement level all the way to 700 because that's the previous area it broke. You can actually see that that's the previous area it broke. And I would be comfortable waiting to see a retracement level towards 700. I wouldn't have a problem watching that because that's still a good, you can actually see the way it looks. I mean, if you were to see this, it would make sense. So I made a mistake, one on the volume, because I didn't see volume. And again, I was just, not 100% in it. That's why I was trading with one contract. But I was seeing that, okay, there's strong seller wicks at 695. And let's correlate this onto this slash ES. Getting close to 2960, every time it gets close to 2960 or anywhere around here, there's a green candle, strong red candle. Green candles, strong red candles. Green candles. So sellers were clearly there. Sellers in everywhere were clearly there. If I wanted to cut losses, it would be because I now see a candle that is closing above 2960 and is making a continuation. If I see this instead of this with no seller, no selling wick or anything like that, it's just all green, then I made a mistake and I got to sell my position. Why? Because it's clearly wrong. If this starts to move up critical levels, then you got something to worry about. But because it didn't do that and there was clearly sellers around here, I was confident in not selling. So I bought in at 1014, okay, 1014, and I sold at exactly, let me go ahead and show you guys, 1049, which 1045, 1046, 1047, 1048, 1049. This is the candle I sold. And again, I sold at my game plan. This was my game plan, buying below 695 and selling at 690. What it did after that, boom, it exploded upwards. I didn't plan on that. I don't have, psychic powers to know that this was going to happen. I just followed my game plan. Okay? So as soon as I followed my game plan, it touched 690. I'm said, okay, send it, take the picture, leave, go on with the rest of your day. But I then noticed, okay, look at the way retracement levels work. Before our retracement level would be anywhere above, well, 695 was clearly a retracement level right here. As soon as it would go over, it would then go under. Okay, so this is the previous breakout point. 695 is your retracement level, and then okay, goes to 690, retracement level 690. If it would have closed above 695, okay, then we may have a switch up of direction. We start seeing a move down, and then I decide to get in again at the break of 690. My idea was to ride this all the way to 685, but the thing is, at this point, you know, I was happy. I was $400 up on the day. So it didn't take me more than 3 minutes to sell. So I sold at this candle right here, kept making a move down, and I was emotional. I wasn't comfortable, and the market seemed pretty choppy to me, so I wasn't comfortable trading that specific day. Although I did have that second support, 2940, which was being broken at the same time, 690 decided to break. It had this move up, and then 2940 started to break. So I had that edge still. That's something I looked up. And with that, it's just following the same formula. My checklist, which is again, let's go back to the checklist slash ES or SPIs below or above a critical support slash resistant area set by you. My stock of choice in this example, Tesla, is breaking the critical level, which in this second position was 690, and have a 1 minute candle close below the level that was a critical level and wait for the second candle. I didn't wait for the second candle. Yes, sometimes I don't follow my game plan. But again, seeing continuation of the move with the candle that follows the break and have a get in and out plan before the trade even happens. At this point, again, I was very emotional. I didn't really feel, confident, and I was $400 up on the day. So with that in mind, I said, you know what, market's choppy, not that much direction, not that much volume as well. I'm just gonna take my wins. It was a W, and I said, all right. So again, going back to these key points I decided to put here, always keep in mind that you must watch for retracements. When you look at these areas right here, you want to see where it broke before. Which were the levels that it broke before? Because if it started going up, if the slash ES started going about 2950, started making higher highs towards 2960, that could have been a very, very strong move upwards for Tesla or for Amazon or for Apple or for basically anything. But the fact that slash ES had a retracement, and then you can clearly see that Tesla had a retracement at the same time, just made the move that much stronger and reliable. Same thing here. 11 4 I mean 1014, going back to 1014, okay, my retracement level was 2960. Got near to 2960 because it broke before, This was the previous break point. Remember this area right here, 2960, broke it, made a move down, started to move towards 2960, then made an even higher, lower move down. So those are retracements basically. They're areas where there is a healthy move up that will give continuation to a lower and stronger move down. And these are found by previous areas of breakpoints. Okay? So those are the things that keep me like consensual that my trade has still the possibility of being green. Again, if I started seeing candles on slash ES break above 2960, and if I started seeing candles above Tesla that were breaking above 700, then I would have to admit my trade was wrong. You know, that's where you got to say, okay, you know what? Your trade was wrong, my guy, and take your loss, learn from it. Because that's what I used to do. When I had those multiple four-figure loss days, I mean, I had to go back and learn from all this because I would sell up here and then realize that, oh my God, it made a huge move down and I could have made so much money. Why is this happening? Because of retracement levels. I didn't know about retracement levels. So that's something so clear to me now that even if I buy in right here, I want to keep in mind that there is such a thing as retracement levels and my trade can still turn out green. Something to keep in mind. Most of the time, this is something I'm not very good at personally because I have a lot of FOMO, but you want to wait for the second move down, usually, because usually the first move that it breaks a critical level will turn out like this. And you can actually see, well, this is an example in itself. First move down has a big buyer candle right there, right? Gets close to a retracement level, then second move down makes a move down the way it was supposed to. Now the thing about this is that, of course, if it starts making a move down and this starts making a move down on the first move, you just lost the opportunity. You know what I mean? So it's basically seeing how much stress you can take. There's a lot of things that you want to keep in mind, like basically the checklist that I just shared with you guys. But with that being said, it's basically that's it. I mean, that's my checklist the way I do. And if you guys like, I can share my critical levels the way I set them up on every single day. So actually, let's go ahead. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already too long, but I'm going to go ahead and erase all these levels right here. So if you guys wanted to copy them, here are the levels that I set. Okay. So this is how I set my levels. I clear everything out. Okay, let's look at this on the 5-minute chart first. Sorry about that. Well, clearly, anything anything below 28, let's say 28.20. Yeah. So 28.20. And 28.50. So if it's above these levels right here, I want to start looking for calls in Tesla, for example. And if it's below this level right here, I want to start looking for puts. Okay. So let's look for the next resistance point. Next support point uh, for 2020. Actually, 2800 looks perfect. 2800 looks perfect on the downside. We're going to keep in mind that we probably want to put one at 2810 just because, again, slash ES moves in values of 10 most of the time. So 2800 is going to be, the true game plan at this point, but just keeping in mind that 2810 can be a strong move up as well. And 2850, above 2850, starts seeing a move up towards 2860 and all the way to 2070. Again, it moves by 10. So these are the areas that I want to keep in mind always, but not really seeing much for the upside. Again, I do see that this is a very, a clean gap if you would must say all the way to like 2900. You can actually I can see it doing such a thing with a retracement or something like that. But with oil prices and everything falling, it's kind of unlikely, at least to my eyes at this point. Keep it in mind. This is not my final analysis. Obviously, I have to do a little bit more due diligence, but I'll go ahead and keep you guys posted. This is just an example of how I set my levels. Okay, and I do the same thing for Tesla. I take into account how Tesla is moving on the 5-minute chart. So Tesla tends to move with 10 again, same thing with values of 10. So if it breaks 700, it goes to 710. If it breaks 720, it goes to 730. If it breaks below 720, it goes to 710, right? So that's the way I look at things. And with that, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank you guys for supporting me in so many ways. I've had so many great comments from you guys, being so nice to me. And, if again, you guys got a friend in me because I know most of you guys have not been going through what you want to be going through, maybe something you don't deserve. And, you know, if I can help in any way, I hope one thing's first. First things first. I hope that this video helped you. And if I can help in any other way, feel free to tag me or just send me a DM. No problem. And with that, thank you so much for being here, and have a good night.